pushing the boundaries of expectations, and rewriting the rules of adventure are the reasons we get up in the morning. This is a way of life, a huge and growing community of explorers and adventurers, leading the way, blazing new trails, and raising the bar. We share your hunger for a life without limits, and we know you'll stop at nothing to get there.
Well, greetings and welcome back, KB Creatives, for another adventure of advancing to live our best lives together. StephenCanyon.com is the website, and if you'd like to begin receiving KB text messages with an occasional insight for believing, just text the word kinetic to 31996 and you're in. And if you'd like to become part of the KB family, well, you are invited to join our Facebook group. Miss Maggie, greetings, my friend.
Greetings.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I have to say that this past week, the weather finally broke. I don't know where the rest of you KBs are, and I know a lot of you are in the snow-ridden areas of the U.S. and also over in Europe, but it has been where we are nothing but rain for weeks. Cats and dogs, if that's even possible.
My mic is facing the wrong way. Hang on. Test check. There it is.
That sounds better. Is mine facing the right way?
Yes, yours is. I was like, where's my voice?
That really helps, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, anyway, the sunshine has come out to greet us with each day. So we've been out walking and hiking and finally drying out. It's been great. I just have to say. I've missed the sun.
I love the sunshine. And you're right. You know, the rain is nice too. Can be.
It can't. Well,
it's the balance.
Without the rain, we don't appreciate the sun. Without the sun, then it's too much rain.
Did you write that?
And clouds. I wrote that down.
I like it. Yeah. I like it.
You look just fantastic, and like you're ready to rock and roll today. It's been a few days since our last podcast.
Rock and roll is the phrase. Yes,
it is, isn't it? Got a question for you, Maggie.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Are you ready? Now, this is deep. Mm-hmm. Would you rather live 120 years that are comfortable but boring, or live half as long but have an exciting and adventure-packed life?
Well, you said the 120 years is comfortable. So is the half-life, is that uncomfortable?
The half-life is exciting and it's adventure-packed.
Okay. Adventure-packed. For sure.
Okay.
No question.
Well, that tells all of us a little bit more about you. So let's move on.
Oh man. Well, I mean, who cares if it's 120 years of boring?
I know, right? So put it out there. And I think, well, here's the thing. Here's the deal.
Yeah. Is
that as a KB creative, you realize that life is a continuum. It's not just about experiencing in the now, having your spiritual experience in the natural.
Right.
Because we're going to go on and on and on. So there is a continuum to life. So we want to get into that journey and live it as fast and as productively and as blessed and enriched as we possibly can every single day. And I'll tell you this, that if you do that, it will seem like 200 years or more, and maybe it even will be.
And now that is so true. That's an amazing phenomenon, isn't it? Just when you're packing so much life in, it does feel like you're having multiple lifetimes or something.
Sure.
Into a short amount of time.
Well, I was having a conversation with someone the other day about the power of unconditional love and how all things work to advance us. When we are operating within the energetics of what we call unconditional love, and this person asked me, he said, "Well, now, Stephen, how can I know if I really, truly believe that my Creator has unconditional love for me? I mean, how can I know if I'm unconditionally loving myself? I might be telling myself that I am, but how can I really know that if I'm in that position of unconditional love or not?" And even the more challenging part, he wanted to know, how can I know if I'm really unconditionally loving other people?
Right.
The way that you can know, and what I said, is that if you are centered within what is called unconditional love, is that you will not fear anything anymore. You will not fear the loss of a job. You're not going to fear how people will respond to you. how you'll pay the bills, whether your family will be healthy or safe. You're not going to fear those who don't believe the way that you believe, who the president is or the prime minister is or isn't. You'll have no fear regarding good reports or bad reports. No fear is no fear. No fear is no worry.
And I have to say, actually not having any fear, it does sometimes seem like it's not really possible to get rid of all of the fear, every ounce of it. But according to what you're saying, it's not only possible, but we shouldn't have any fear or worry at all in our lives.
Yeah, and you were not created originally with the energetics of the spirit of fear anyway. None of us were. There are no spiritual birth defects. In other words, some people were not fashioned from the substance of fear, while others were. The order of all creation is to expand and to become abundantly more. And that means that the passion of our Creator is for us to be able to choose a way of life that's filled with a passion like our Creator's that operates and grows to become more, where the decay and negative toxicity of fear is not present within us. And if that's the purpose of the Creator for every single spiritual being having a natural experience, then it is creation's will for us, which means that it is also possible for us. In other words, all that is required for you to receive your Creator's unconditional love for you is to believe the love and then send the love that you believe back out to all others, all things, all of life around you and within you. If you say that you believe your Creator's love for you, but you have no love for others, then you do not really believe the love. Because kinetic belief requires the action of what is believed. And if you say that you believe your Creator's unconditional love for you, then the action of unconditional love must follow what you say you believe. It's from the center of unconditional love that your energetics are made perfect within the power of kinetic belief for manifesting anything that you should hope for by imagining the very best, by desiring the best, and acting in alignment with the best while being grateful, absolutely thankful for what you have chosen to believe to already exist. So this is how all of this is done.
Belief is actually, it almost seems easy but when we aren't being confronted with some kind of opposition, isn't it? I mean, if I didn't have a source of denial or something or someone telling me that I can't have or be what I would like to have or be, then I just believe we could just believe for the best. It's those negative thoughts that we have to get out of the way, or as you often say, cast down.
Yeah. Early in life as a child, we just believed, didn't we? We didn't have to make a decision, well, do I believe that or not? We just believed as children. We originally had no negative influence to block our beliefs. Yes. Believing is easy when we first get started in this life. So what is it that stops people from believing? Along the road of life, negative source influencers begin abusing the innocence of your belief. Well, as a result, you begin to develop hurts and wounds. And then when left unattended, you see, they will not fully heal. A few of the warning signs are guilt, shame about the past, insecurities, low self-esteem, a lack of knowledge regarding who you were created to be. The most important thing to know regarding what we call love is that the quantum substance of creative love is unconditional. And when we perfect the conscious awareness of unconditional love, the power of it will advance us beyond every negative influence that we've ever experienced or will ever encounter. The beginning of healing, for example, is to kinetically believe the passion of our Creator's love for us. Now, once you've determined that, it is the mission within your soul to become a creative, kinetic belief artist, and that the media of your craft is unconditional love. Now, this is where things begin to become so exciting. And, I just can scarcely contain myself like you. I was telling somebody yesterday, it's your nature to just bounce around. You're always enthusiastically, joyfully happy and excited about whatever. Megan, it's going to rain. I'm so excited. Megan, the sun's coming out. I can't wait.
It's kind of true, though.
Do you remember the movie, The Greatest Showman?
Yes. Oh,
it
love
starred
that movie.
Hugh Jackman and who's the other guy?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, yeah. Well, it's a musical, but it's a bigger than life story about how P.T. Barnum became this worldwide sensation in show business. It is. If you haven't seen the movie, I love the spectacle of it. It is a vivacious storytelling of how his imagination and his innovative ideas took him to the very top of his game. Of course, the telling of the story, even in front of the backdrop of music and dance, I wish all of life was a musical, by the way.
I think yours is.
Almost.
I think so.
Embarrassingly so. But it was actually one of the... it's actually the universe was responding to P.T. Barnum's expectations. The creative energetics did not respond to P.T. Barnum any differently than it does to any other human being. The universe always gives whatever is expected to be received.
Right.
The universe is not a respecter of persons. It does not favor one person over any other person. It doesn't say that you are more worthy to receive from me than you are over here. It doesn't do that. It only knows to favor kinetic belief. Here is how the manifesting power of your kinetic belief works. In quantum mechanics, there is something that's called a particle entanglement, which deals with the very tiniest particles of energy, which are called quanta. Now, KBs, if you've been listening for any amount of time, they know that manifestation works to transform their lives due to vibration and alignment of particle energy. Well, research into quantum mechanics has shown us that it is the act of what we expect. In other words, the action of what we believe while observing life as it happens to us, that then forms and creates our reality. The life we're going to experience, the circumstances around us, the chance encounters, those serendipitous moments, the phone call you were not expecting, but on the other hand, you were expecting. So you will always advance to different levels of what we call achievement by attempting to observe something from success, from the very best version that you can imagine. And it is the expectation of that best version that causes something to appear in our lives to meet that expectation. This is why purposing to advance your imagination beyond what you presently are observing day in and day out is so vital to your success. If you continue to imagine, for example, what you can already perceive from the senses, from sight and sound and taste and hearing and all those things. If you continue just to imagine what you're already perceiving from your senses, you're going to continue to manifest and attract what you're already experiencing. So in the same way, if we are not aware of something else that's not in our current environment, then it just doesn't exist within our subjective reality, and it just remains elusive to forming in our lives.
This is what you were talking about recently when you told us that Einstein said, surely the moon is there even when we're not looking at it. So we have to be aware of something, believe something exists and is possible for us, or we'll probably not have it even come into our life.
Yeah, this is one of the most fascinating things. For example, in quantum theory, Meg, light and matter actually don't exist until something happens to it to make them both real. But what is it that has to happen for light and matter to enter into our realm of reality? Quantum theory in the last 10 years has revealed something called the collapse of the wave function. The collapse of the wave function has demonstrated that it is actually consciousness. It's our awareness, which is the awareness of the universe, which manifests the reality that we all ultimately experience. We've talked about before the perfect version of each one of us and how that perfected version already exists in the realm of possibilities.
Yes.
It is the wave function that contains all of the possible outcomes of every situation. But now then this is where our imagination and our desires have final authority in our lives. Only one outcome. There's only one outcome that's going to appear in the real world of our experiences. When the outcome is collapsed by an accompanying consciousness. In other words, the outcome of our life experiences are collapsed into our reality in alignment with our expectations. The way to control our experiences is to meditate positive thought forms. Cast down those negative ones. Don't entertain them when they show up, and meditate on the positive ones. I am happy. I am full of joy. I am prosperous. I am full of unconditional love for myself and for my Creator and for everyone I meet. I will have what I desire. You're so good at all of that too, by the way. and then to expand our ability to imagine all things being possible. How? By casting down negative imaginations. In other words, meditate to see all things as being possible for us.
I really like talking about positive thought forms because, we know that all things are created from what is not seen. And since all things are created from the particle energy, why is it that we see each other as forms instead of pulsing lights of energy?
Great question. Did you ever create a flip book movie as a child?
Yes.
Those are fun, aren't they?
Yes,
and you're an artist. I bet yours were.
It was always a little pony.
Did you do realism or did you do the little?
It was always stick figures.
Right?
Well, it takes so long,
the pony. Great
yeah,
idea.
Yeah.
Well, you take a small book. If you don't know how to do this, you take a small book of blank paper and you draw an image on the first page, and then you draw the same image again and again on the second page with a slight just variation of movement. And you continue the process throughout all the pages, and then when you're finished, you can thumb through the pages, and because of the speed at which one page replaces another, our eyes get cheated into thinking that we're seeing this continuous moving picture. In the same way, this is why we don't see each other, as you say, as pulsing lights of energy. The form of our energy is vibrating at a frequency that our eyes perceive as form. The universe is flipping the pages of our energy to where the basic senses can perceive something as a form, like your stick figure pony. We have 5 physical senses. We have sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. And it's each one of these senses that has a specific spectrum. For example, a dog hears a different range of sound than we do. A snake sees this different spectrum of light than we do. In the same way that our senses perceive very specific, very limited fractions of the vast amounts of energy and creates this image from the limited amount of information. And now this is what brings us squarely into the creative frontier of kinetic belief. It's the understanding of how we can intentionally create that empowers us to be able to create our genius of purpose in this life, the life that we're supposed to live. But we've got to first learn the art form of manifesting. The KB Creative looks at molding their best life really as an art form.
I love that, seeing life as an art form. That's such a powerful notion, isn't it? And, I love what you said, that the creative frontier of kinetic belief. That's, because manifesting things intentionally, it really is an art form. It's a practice, it's a skill, if you will. So wouldn't you say that, like any other art form, we need to practice what we want to attract into our lives?
What, do you practice painting? You practice, I've seen you do it. You practice doing the nose. You practice an eye, and you do it over and over and over until you get it just right. And it looks like the eye is moist, and maybe it follows you around the room. I don't know how you do it, but you do it through practice.
Right.
And what do you do to practice specifically?
It's a repetition. It's again and again.
And you look maybe at how other artists do it.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, you take just a dab of white, you put it in there, and it changes everything.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
practice of it. Well, just like any artist of any media, nothing that is intentional just happens. In other words, if you want to become a painter of portraits, it'll not just simply happen that you're going to just awaken one morning to find your first portrait completed and by your bedside without your direct intentional involvement, not unless you have some amazing sleepwalk tendencies.
That would be amazing. Right?
It's the same for all intentional artists. For example, the art of sculpting is perfected through learning how to mold or cast, or carve, or assemble a likeness into some kind of sculpture. And then there's the media that an artist uses for molded sculptures or for cast sculptures, which then involves modeling the sculpture and making a mold and casting it in some type of metal or other medium. Just like the art form of sculpting, the kinetic belief artist learns that it's their thoughts, whatever they are, good, bad, ambitious, apologetic, thoughts of being victimized, imaginations of being championed. Tom Brady being championed, I'm sure those were his thought forms leading up to the Super Bowl the other day. Yeah. Thought forms of abuse, thought forms or imaginations, continual thoughts of being full of prosperity coming into your life, everything you do and everything you touch becoming prosperous, adventures of abundance. It's all of those practiced, expectant thoughts that are the media in which the kinetic believer sculpts their viewpoints for experiencing life, that are connected to this vast sea of invisible energy. And so it's our imaginative desires that are acted upon in gratitude that will determine what the creative energetics of the universe is going to manifest and create within us and around us. Regardless of whether or not you choose to determine your life path or not, your thoughts literally shift the universe on a particle by particle basis to create your physical life. As a creative, energetic creator, you cannot choose to not choose. You can't opt out of this. We come into the natural as a believer, believe it or not. That's what you believe. If you don't believe it's true, then you're believing it's not true. You're still believing. You cannot choose to not create. In other words, you're experiencing right now the substance of what it is that you've been previously believing. So choose your best life and your best holistic life, and change the results of what you're experiencing in your environment through what you choose to imagine to observe. You see, the reality of our creation, that's how we perceive it to be. One image at a time in your flip book of life. You're doing it one page at a time, one day at a time. What kind of image is it that you're drawing for your life's flip book? Are you advancing your pony, or is your pony just grazing away like it does day after day?
Are you advancing your pony? That's perfect.
I'm advancing my pony, and so are you. No, expand your ideals. And by that I mean, because if you're not aware of something, if you're not aware of new thought forms and the highest viewpoint of where to take your life next, where your pony should be, the next field your pony should be galloping off into, it doesn't exist in your subjective reality. And if it does not exist as something that you can continually sculpt to create in your life, then it's not going to be possible within your realm of possibilities. In other words, if one person says they can and one person says they cannot, both of them are correct. Yes. If you want it to exist on a higher plane, if you want to go to a higher plane of existence in your life, if you want things to become better tomorrow than they are today, if you want to advance your mind, body, and soul toward perfected completion, if you want to become stronger, smarter, wiser, if you want to fall more deeply in love with the one you're already in love with, if you want life just to become that journey that it was meant to be and you want to experience the fullness of it, Start imagining it. Begin perceiving it, that it become your subjective reality so that you'll begin manifesting it. The universe, not being the respecter of persons many believes it to be, it doesn't require luck. It just requires the imagination to go and grow beyond where you are today. Yes. And all the possibilities for you as the artist are limitless. Well, let's work on some positive thought forms and just say this out loud. Say, yes. I have more than enough gratitude.
I have more than enough gratitude.
For all my needs to be met.
For all my needs to be met.
I am filled with confidence.
I am filled with confidence.
Overflowing with love.
Overflowing with love.
And I'm able to do all things.
And I'm able to do all things.
Through the power of attraction.
Through the power of attraction.
I am so grateful for my life.
I'm so grateful for my life.
And all the positive energy contained within.
And all the positive energy contained within.
And all the opportunities to be creative and decisive in my life.
All the opportunities to be creative and decisive in my life.
Because I'll tell you something. After all, my life aligns with my fun-loving.
It aligns with my fun-loving
and happy little self. I am so grateful for my family.
I'm so grateful for my family.
For you.
For
all my friends. And for especially you. I am healthy. I am so wealthy. And the abundant source of all thoughts. And all things. Belong to me.
It belongs to me.
Today. Right now. This is the best day of my life. And I am so grateful.
Oh, wow, that was so powerful. I loved looking at the churning ocean behind you while doing those highest viewpoints. Oh, beautiful. This has been yet another powerful podcast today. I always love the visuals of kinetic belief as a form of visual art, as you were describing. I'm so excited because, like you tell us, anyone can do this, and it's fun, it's thrilling, it doesn't have to be hard, it just takes that passion of commitment. If you do want to check out the journal that Stephen has created, it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's a 100-day guided journal. You can do that at StephenCanyon.com, and be sure and follow Stephen on Instagram as well. That's at Stephen Canyon.
Sending out much love to all you KB creatives all around the world.
Yes, and thanks as usual, Steve, for all the wisdom.
Bye.